sell this one off to start it, right?
72.
It's gonna be 4 million because he's gonna or 400,000 because he's automatically gonna win the race off.
Right.
So we're at 400,000.
You're gonna get colored up for the one chip.
So this here is gonna be 2, 4, 6, 8, 900,000. Right. So that's 1 million. So we got 3 million there.
7.3 million.
73 million.
All right.
73 million, yes, thank you. Yeah, you know
What is it? 73 million.
73.
73
Yes,
million.
73 million.
All right. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 1, 2, 3.
73. Holy shit.
All right.
I got out of
Yeah,
bed.
you,
I can't
relax.
even fucking
You
think.
ran your little feet like crazy. We got this. I'll verify Dennis.
I'm over here. I watch.
Okay, that's fine. I just breathe.
All right.
Brand.
So that's 5 million per barrel, right?
2.5 per or
25.
25
25.
million.
Right.
That's 50. We don't count this high very often.
That's why I'm saying 2.5 and
50.
You keep it simple.
All right. Still got to think about this. 60. 65. 70. We're looking for 3, right?
Yeah.
73. Good with that? All right. Let's cart his.
I hope I have enough. Might have to go get more.
You do. You have exactly the right amount, hon. We have 1 million left. You have the back over there?
Welcome back to the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino. You can see that attempts to color some of these players up taking place, making this a little bit more manageable. And it looks like they have found, I assume, 1 million chips.
5.
10.
10.
This is 10, 20, 25. 26. Good with that?
What's more pressure?
25.
We'll see if it
26 million if I pull
maintains
this
that.
off.
See it?
Kicking myself because I probably could have got 100 to 1 or just pick, you know, hey, I know this
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is. That's good.
I'm not sure what the deal with the monkey mask is, but you can see efforts going through here efforts happening here to make this a little bit more reasonable.
Hopefully that'll help some, gentlemen.
Yep, thank you.
And you hear the floor men saying, I hope that helps something. Joe McKeon with more than a 2-to-1 chip advantage over Hugo Pingray. Pingray, by the way, listed as Switzerland. And in fact, he's actually born in France, so he is French. And Israel, all French, including Antoine Saout. If you're just joining us, you missed quite a final table so far. All 9 of our final tablists.
Monster Stack heads up final table back in action.
Well, there you go.
Over here on my right in the 7th seat, we've got Hugo with 33,600,000 in chips. On my left over here in the 3 position, we've got Joe, our chip leader, with 84,200,000. We have a $200,000 ante, 800,000, 1.6 million blinds. Shuffle up and deal, 2816.
Welcome back to the 2014 World Series of Poker. There's our chip leader, Joe McKeon, with 84 million. More than a 2-to-1 chip advantage over the Frenchman, who calls Switzerland his home right now, Hugo Pingray. Hugo had been the chip leader throughout this final table, but he finds himself short-stacked. Both these players guaranteed $820,000, $500,000 at stake That's what they're playing for between first and second place. Blinds right now, 800,000, 1.6 million with a 200,000 ante. Hand 128.
Hugo raises it up to 3.2 million. Action back over to Joe.
Raise from Pingray on the button, and a quick fold from McKeon, so we get a min raise. I haven't had a chance to see those brown chips, but I am assuming that those brown chips are 250,000 each, which would make each stack 5 million. That would make sense. So I'm going to go on that, Lynn. The green chips now 100K, the brown chips 250,000. Always an interesting dynamic when the players come back from a break. In this case, it was a 1 hour long dinner break. And you wonder what they heard from their friends, so forth and so on. We've got about 75 big blinds in play, so not a ton of post-flop play you'd think. Subnet1 says, will you be doing a live commentary for the one drop final table? We will not be. ESPN is actually covering the one drop in its entirety. They were here yesterday covering day 1. They're here today covering day 2, and they will be here tomorrow covering day 3 as well. Cake Brothers tweets in, says, how sick would it be if Gabe Kaplan final table to one drop? That'd be pretty awesome. Ace high flop, 2 spades out there. And those brown chips are 250,000 each. 6 is still in the lead. Hand 129. Playing 800,000, 1.6 million.
Joe bids out 2 million. Hugo lays it down. Joe's going to take the pot.
Pingray gives it up. And Pingray now on 20 big blinds. Not very deep at all. We saw them get it in last level with ace-king versus 10s. They certainly don't have to be that strong right now to get it all in. Joseph McKeon looking for his first ever World Series of Poker bracelet. 23-year-old. Has had some big scores lately. The $1 million big one for one drop. Down to 14 players. Tom Hall, our chip leader, with 18.9 million. Antonio Esfandiari in second place with 18.5 million. The 1K No Limit tournament, which we will stream tomorrow, is led by Matt Salzberg. Matt Salzberg, our chip leader. Ray Henson, top 5 in chips. They're down to 31 players. And then when they get down to 9 tomorrow, we will pick up that action
Raises it to 3.2 million.
with a live stream. Get a raise here from Pingray on the button. Joe's certainly going to call this, and I imagine with a hand like King 10, he's just going to call. Both these players very deliberate. Joe, by the way, born in Philadelphia. And McKeon moves all in. Gets Pingray to fold the ace. And McKeon picks up another 5.2 million chips, now up to 89.2. There's 118 million in play total. 3Bet Poker Clothing is now the official charity partner of One Drop. To celebrate and support One Drop's Clean Drinking Water initiative, you can now purchase an exclusive One Drop t-shirt at 3bet.com. Each purchase includes an automatic donation to One Drop and also enters you for a chance to win a 3-pack of 3Bet hoodies. New 3Bet contest tomorrow. Make sure you follow at 3Bet Clothing as they will be announcing the winners of those 3Bet contests.
Joe folds the small blind.
Joe folds the button.
You got 4 stacks of the 250s.
Those brown chips, 250,000. The green chips, 100,000. Hugo Pincray with only 18 big blinds. If you have any questions, you want to join the conversation, just say hi to me. You can tweet me at Tuck on Sports. You can also tweet us at WSOP. And you can see now only under 75 big blinds total in play. Not very deep for heads-up play.
You're good. Thanks.
Gabriel Villanueva says, would love to know your thoughts about the One Drop being a sustainable tournament. What about the Monster Stack? Do we see it next year? Yeah, I see no reason for the big one for One Drop not to be sustainable. I doubt it'll be an every year thing. But we had 48 players last year. We had 42 this year. And at the end of the day, we're raising millions. I mean, last year we raised $5.5 million for charity. This year, over $4 million for the One Drop. So we're saving lives. And I think it's a great cause, and I see no reason why it shouldn't continue. And by the way, I mean, last year we had a $111,000 tournament, and that got over 100 people. So I think the demand is there, and I see the tournament continuing to go on. As for the Monster Stack, I can't imagine a scenario where we wouldn't have at least one Monster Stack tournament next year. Ty Stewart and Jack Effel are always trying to think of new things. And when something is such a huge success, McKeon moves all in, Pincray quickly folds, and Joe takes down the pot. When something is such a huge success, like clearly the Monster Stack is, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't keep it going. This webcast brought to you in part by Dough.com, a platform designed to turn real people into better investors. Sign up at Dough.com/contest to learn more. And if you enter before July 8th for your chance to win $10,000 in Dough's Invest in Your Summer 10K giveaway.
Cut cards in the machine. Yeah.
Joseph McKeon from North Wells, Pennsylvania. He's a professional poker player. And he's looking for his biggest score ever. Both these players guaranteed $820,000. Looks like Matthew Waxman cannot wait to put the mic on. Waxman just walked in the booth, and yeah, Max Waxman, join in, man. Awesome. It's always good to get the waxitizer in here. Waxitizer? The waxitizer. Put that mic on, buddy. Heads up action. Calvin Anderson also joining me. And here you go. So, Wax, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Just playing the mix max with approximately 10 big blinds, you know, doing my thing.
Yeah, you doing that, the short stack grind?
Yeah.
There you go. How's I haven't seen you much this summer. How you been?
I'm not bad. I feel like I'm poised to make a run in something. Yeah. Feeling
we don't
good.
have many events left, so you got to
I'm staying positive.
There you go. You don't look positive.
What?
I mean, I've seen you much more positive. I've seen a positive aura coming off you at different times. I don't see that right now.
All right, I'm hiding it. I don't want them to know.
Good
you
point.
know?
That's a good thing.
You missed out on the Fixed Lemon Omaha. Didn't you?
I did.
Didn't you final table that? Take third?
No, that was a 1,500. These 3Ks, they're too good.
That's Calvin Anderson and
players.
Matthew Waxman. Waxman.
How cool are these chips, by the way? This is awesome.
I'm glad they finally took out the 250,000 ones.
You got the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Those are sweet.
We had no 250s. They were all like, we had like 8,000 chips on the table. It was ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I saw that earlier, yeah.
Heads up there.
It looked like kind of fun, but I can't imagine the dealers having a good time.
Well, every time there was a double up, we had to take a 12-minute break because they'd have to count down and then count out the chips. It just took forever.
Yeah. So how's it been going? Who's
It hasn't been. They've been playing back and forth, and basically, Pingray, this guy right here, Hugo Pingray, had a 2-to-1 chip advantage. Got it in with ace-king suited against pocket tens, and now the tables are turned. To be honest, there hasn't been much movement except for that hand. They've been going back and forth, and now that McKeon has the chip advantage, he's been able to kind of push around a little bit more.
grind him down a little bit?
Yeah, but not much. Pingray, now he's obviously pretty short stacked. The blinds are 800,000, 1.6 million. He's only got like 25 million behind.
This is interesting.
There's a straight on the board, but McKeon's got the jack.
He's out of position. I think that
He is out of position.
people typically bet here at check raise.
Calvin, you're talking very softly. Can I ask you to speak up a little bit? Because I've got that mic in your mouth.
Yeah, these are interesting spots.
There you go.
With, him having the jack on a straight board, he's almost always going to call here just to get the chop. He might even raise too, which is...
if you had nothing meaningful to say, I wouldn't care. But we actually like to hear what you say. So,
What kind of sizing you think is too much to actually scare a guy away here? Like more than pot, I'm guessing?
I think you can easily overbet pot here, especially on like a straight board where a guy doesn't have that many jacks in his range. So,
And Pingray's going to call, and Pingray is now down to 22.8 million chips. That's not a lot of chips when you start thinking about it. He's got like 14 big blinds.
No, not with the blinds being this big. Yeah, I think I like a little bit bigger of a bet by Joe there then, because if he didn't have it, he can easily, he'd want to bet bigger.
But the cool thing is with that small bet, he's more likely to induce a raise. I don't know how this player is, but
yeah,
that's one of the positives. Also, it seemed like he didn't even want to call half pot. Like maybe he bet just right. Because you got to know your player. Like obviously against a competent player, they're going to realize the odds are really against a guy having a straight better than the board. So they're going to call more often. But this guy, Joe just knew that he could only get like 2.6. He's been playing with him a lot.
Yeah, Joe definitely knows better than us. He's been playing with these guys all day, and all tournament, I would imagine.
So how's your summer been going, Cal? Besides that bracelet win.
And third place finish. And currently 7th in the Player of the Year standings.
And those are both
Besides that,
those are both stud events, right?
Yeah.
Both stud 8 events.
Wow. They were both stud 8 events?
Both stud 8, 6 days away from each other.
Wow.
He can play stud 8.
What a beast.
The boy can play stud 8. And I thought you were about to ask me how my summer was. You don't care.
How is your summer?
You don't care how my summer is. You know what? I thought we were friends.
You know what? I don't care, but let's just hear it. I'm sure everyone watching wants to know.
Whatever. Raise here for McKeon. I'm assuming Pingray's going to move all in.
Yeah, with only 14 blinds. I feel like that's one of his only options.
So I got this French guy at my table in the 1500 mix max.
Yeah.
And he just lost maybe a 15th of his stack with calling fours to king jack, and he's just like, I am steaming, oh. And he's going nuts. And then the next hand I picked up aces under the gun. And basically the guy just tanks it forever. Everyone folds, I min raise it with 14 big blinds. And this guy's just tanking it forever, just staring me down for 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah, shove it in. And then he shows king 5 off, face up. And he's like, I know if I shove you fold, I bet you anything. I'm like, should have done it. And then he goes, what'd you have? I'm like, aces. And he's just like, yeah, right. You had ace 8. You're folding. I was like, well, there's one way to find out.
Sure, if you had ace 8, you probably wouldn't fold to him.
If I had ace 8, I would have just folded the hand under the gun.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that.
But if you decided to raise against that specific opponent,
yeah,
I can't picture you folding.
I hope I wouldn't. That's awful if I did. Man. But yeah, so that's a little story of my day. You know, just winning the blinds.
There you go. Hey, how many players left in the mixed max?
I think there's like 250.
So you, what were there like?
I'm about 100 away from cashing.
I was gonna say, there, mixed max got 1,300, 1,475.
Yeah.
So you are close to the cashing.
Yeah, I'm looking all right.
Hey, look at Matt Salzburg, by the way. He's just beasting it again in the 1K no limit.
Did you see? All right, so in that 1K no limit, even though I won event number 7, on the 1K no limit they wrote reigning champion Matt Waxman for this event. Like this is, and they announced it. They were like, "This is Matt Waxman's tournament that he won last year."
Yeah, you're the reigning champion of all the 1Ks.
But hold on. Yeah, I know, right? So I have a running joke with Salzburg over the last few years where since I won WPT Paris and he won the next year, the year after, every tournament that I win, he's like, I got to play that next year. I'm going to win it. So now in this one, he's actually just making a run, and he's like chip leader in the 1K.
Yeah, hey, he's looking for his
Absurd.
second final table here at the World Series this summer. Salzburg won the WPT Player of the Year a couple of years ago, and he just defies logic. So I played poker with this guy. He's not good. Yeah, I love Salzburg. We're good friends.
He gets friend folds. Everybody likes him. He's a likable guy.
He's a really likable guy.
They fold just to keep him on the table.
He's funny and very creative. Once again, those brown chips, 250,000. The green chips, 100K. Calvin Anderson, Matthew Waxman in the booth. I'm hoping we'll have Calvin until the duration. Matt's got to jump back into his.
Yeah, I got to go play a 10 big blind stack.
Yeah.
We're going to 4-8.
There's a look at Joe McKeon, who's on just under 89 million chips. Once again, there's 118 in play. So do the math. That's a lot for McKeon and not a lot for his opponent, Hugo. Hugo, by the way, lives in Switzerland, but we found out he is French.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Switzerland?
No, I want to go.
Yeah,
I hear it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Expensive.
I've been
I
there
heard it's
once.
expensive.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
I don't even know.
Zurich, probably.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I said it is. And I actually went.
Interlaken?
I went skiing with a buddy of mine. So, where do you ski there?
The Alps. Is that near Switzerland?
Yeah. I think so.
Cool.
Probably. Sounds right. My buddy actually was like an economist there or something. So, hey, we had a good time.
Yeah, I've been to Zurich as well. Checked out Interlaken. It was pretty nice.
They got that river. The river with the two different rivers meet or something. They're like different colors.
Maybe.
Is that Switzerland? I don't know. I saw it on Twitter or something. It looked pretty cool.
Three Americans in the booth
Couple
showing
of
our
tens.
world ignorance.
Yeah.
Ping Gray with 10s.
I like a raise with this hand.
Some deep.
I think he just limped in.
Really?
That's what it looked like to me.
Has he been? He's been limping a lot. I think
No,
it's
not
fine.
really. But I mean, then again, we haven't been like this, like 19, 18 big blind stack.
Yeah, I think whenever you get to around this many big blinds, limping a lot of hands is pretty smart.
I feel like 10s would be in my raising range.
Absolutely, me too.
It's one of those hands I'd be willing to go with.
9-3 deuce. It's very, very hard to get the cards in that box. 2 hearts out there, and not much there for McKeon. You can see Ping Ray a 4-1 favorite if we go to showdown.
That just looks like the face of somebody with an overpair. Maybe it's easy to say because I can see his cards.
Well, I mean, hey, you're a bracelet winner. You can tell these things. So are you still 9-handed in the mixed max?
Yeah.
So if you survive till tomorrow, it'll be 6-handed?
Yeah.
Does this one go to 4-handed or just go straight to heads up?
Oh, there's a 4.
There's a 4?
Yep.
So what is this, a 4-day
9, 6,
event?
4, heads up?
I mean, imagine, I don't know, I played the 25K mixed match, and they went down to 4-handed.
Nice brag, Cal.
I went until we reached 4-handed, I got knocked out.
Calvin, you're talking very, very softly.
Was that the money? Did you make the money in that?
I am turning you up as loudly as I possibly can.
Wow, cashing 25Ks.
No apologies needed.
Final tabling stud 8 events, winning bracelets. I think it's safe to say that you're having a breakout summer.
Yeah.
Here, well, I'll let you. Here, I just pulled this up on the computer. That says 2014 WSOP Player of the Year. Look at the top 7.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Calvin's on that list.
Attaboy, Cal. I'm rooting for him. I'm not going to lie.
It's a solid list, though.
I'm officially drawing dead, so I can root for Cal.
You're not drawing dead, by the way. You get 500 points for winning the main event.
Okay, I'll just do that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
You win the main event. You win the main event, by the way. You are instantly in 4th.
I have a
Then you
feeling
win-
by the time the main comes around, though, you won't be.
And by the way, if you win the main and then you go to Australia and win a couple of bracelets,
If
there,
I
you'll
win the
probably
main,
win the whole thing.
I do not care about Player of the Year. I am ecstatic to win the main.
But you wouldn't know before Australia. That's the thing, because you'd be going to the November 9.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true.
So
I know for the 25K draft, they have it so that once you make the final table, it's over for the summer, and I think they're doing the points according to chip counts. So if you have the most chips, you win the main. Like, you get the points
Right.
for the main.
I got you.
So that's kind of cool. Johnny World, number 3 on the list. That's the captain of our team for the players.
Well, you're doing pretty well then.
We're in second, yeah.
There you go. I was going to say, you won last year, too,
But
didn't
the guy in first has George Danzer, who's number 1, and Cal.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's insane. His team
you?
is
You
crushing.
won last year?
Yeah, we won last year.
Next year, can I buy a piece?
No.
Come on.
I had a piece of him last year.
I gave
He
Cal a piece
rejected
when we
me
won
this
last
year.
year. This year I said, Cal, unless you're paying markup.
I don't need to make a decision. I just want a little piece, a little sweat equity.
I'll tell you what, if you can do some research and find out about some players for
I
us.
missed your research.
All right, great. Well, then we can work something out. That's why Cal didn't get a piece this year, because he wasn't able to research
Well,
for
because
us.
he's busy working on his game.
I told you that I was going to play a lot.
That's true, but everybody already knew that, and everybody was already
By
going
the
to
way,
bid crazy on you.
talk about research. One of the two of you bought a package of one of the two guys that are in this final table.
Yeah.
So Calvin's doing something right.
Yes, he is.
Raise.
I bought a few pieces in the monster stack. None of them cashed.
Exactly. See, so maybe you should. And maybe if you had had Calvin Anderson on your team, you would have had him on your actual team.
True.
Yeah.
See, there you
That's true. All right, I got to go.
Get out of here, man.
I'm leaving. Maybe I'll come back.
Don't come back. Go.
I
win-
don't
go win a
want to come
tournament.
back. I don't want to come back. All right, bye.
We say goodbye to Matthew Waxman.
Yep.
Are you on?
Yep.
You are on. Good. Okay, cool. That's a better mic, I think.
Yeah.
Now you can actually hear what's going on out there.
Cool.
So Calvin Anderson, David Tuckman in the booth, and so you had a piece of their 25K action last year.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't give you a piece this year?
No, I asked him, and he said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not even a small piece?
I was surprised.
There's no love there.
Even after last year, I mean, he's doing well.
You'd think karma, though. You wouldn't want to mess anything up. Why switch? Why change course? Don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've, I shouldn't say the first time, but one of the few times we actually see like a raise with kind of a garbage hand. Pingray limping on the button. He limped in with 10s. Now he limps in with 7-6. McKeon seizing on that and raising with 9-4.
God, looking at you, the light right in my eyes.
I got the same thing.
Yeah, you do. It was nice over there. I didn't have nothing. Now over here.
You want some glasses?
I'm good. I got my regular glasses.
Hugo lays it down, goes to pick the spot up.
The button is over there.
Yep.
So you played the Mix Max? Or did
Yeah.
you play the 08?
I played the Mix Max.
Mix Max, okay.
And then I finished right before I couldn't get in the 08. So,
What's your best game?
I think almost everybody's best games No Limit Hold'em, just because we spend so much time working on it. Compared to the field, though, I'm not really sure what my best game is. It might still be No Limit Hold'em, but yeah. What about you? Do you know?
What,
many?
you mean, which is my relative worst game? No, probably either Stud 8 or No Limit Hold'em.
Yeah. Nice. Me too. Maybe.
I would take your side. I would bet on Calvin Anderson every time. That's a lot of chips. Those each one of those brown chips, 250,000. Green chip, 100K. McKeon raising.
Go raise it.
Pitgraves, I don't think is going to get involved here with 8-4 offsuit. Pingray at that kind of awkward 18 big blind stack. Yeah.
Hugo, let's go. Joe with the pot.
No, it was.
So by the way, full disclosure, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. A lot of poker players sell packages
Yeah.
before the series, and they
Say all in again. You didn't.
they to reduce variance, they will sell a package so they can play more events.
Yeah.
And Joe McKeon actually sold a package that I know you purchased a small piece, right?
Yeah. He's
I was gonna get him.
he's done pretty well for me. I've been buying action off of Joe for a while, and he's just had amazing results. So.
You're gonna keep buying. Why not?
Yeah, he cashed. He won a Venetian tournament, the 2,500 that went off for 100K earlier this month, and in the past he's done a lot of other stuff. But I took a little piece of this package, and it's going pretty well.
This
so
is
far.
one of the rare backing success stories.
I think buying action isn't bad against for good players. I actually stake a couple guys as well, and I don't think it's that profitable, but I'm still doing it.
You're doing well with this guy, though.
Yeah. I think it's better just to buy the action, and then I don't like it whenever I owe people money or they owe me money and stuff in a deal where there's makeup and stuff. So it's nice just to, like, you know, buy his action however he does, and then
See, I'm with you on that.
At the end of the summer it's over, and then, you know,
Queen
cash out or you
9-5.
don't.
9 of clubs, 5 of hearts.
See, I'm with you on that. I've already got a mortgage to worry about. I've already got, you know, student loans to worry about. I don't want to have to owe somebody money or somebody owes me money. It gets too confusing. Top pair here for Pingray and McKeon with not much of anything. Once again, if you want to join the conversation, you can tweet us at WSOP at Tuck on Sports. This webcast brought to you in part by Dough.com, a platform designed to turn real people like you and me into better investors. Sign up at Dough.com/contest to learn more. And if you enter before July 8th, you could win $10,000 in Dough's Invest in Your Summer 10K giveaway.
Goes and lays down. Hugo picks up this pot.
Bob Smith getting excited. Bob Smith getting very excited.
Like jacked up his voice a little bit on it.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Are you playing 1500 tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. I don't even know what tomorrow is, but
1500.
I'm gonna play.
You pretty much play every day?
Yeah, close to every day.
Yeah. When you take a day off, what is your what kind of hobbies do you have? What do you do?
Try to catch up on sleep, do some yoga.
Yoga?
Yeah.
Are you like you're a Bikram yoga guy or?
My girlfriend's gonna do Bikram yoga training.
Yeah, you'd mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of Bikram. I'm trying to experiment with a lot of different types and see what I like. I'm not really sure.
You know, Greg Merson talked about how yoga really helped him balance his life, and he credits yoga in some ways to for his main event run.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that yoga's helped you?
Absolutely. It keeps you really balanced. I'm good friends with Merson as well, so he's
Do you guys yoga together?
I haven't yogaed with him yet, but yeah, it helps a ton. Him and Tony Gregg both are definitely into that, and I've been getting into it a lot more recently. It's really good. Have you done it at all?
I'm a yoga fan. I like yoga.
Yeah.
I live in LA. I mean, if you're in LA, you almost have to yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the hot yoga. I'm not a huge fan of the Bikram,
Yeah, it's intense.
but I do like hot yoga.
Yeah.
McKeon raised on the button to 3.2 million. Pingray, he's a thinker. He likes to take his time. He's going to fold this, I imagine. He doesn't really have much room to do anything else, does he?
He could 3-bet fold or maybe call, but
He's going to call.
yeah, it's
Jack 3.
it's just a men raise. I wouldn't recommend calling Jack 3 offsuit out of position versus, you know, on 20 blinds.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just surprised he did it with 18 big blinds.
Yeah, it's probably not a.
Well, I mean, if you're going to flop top pair,
5 of hearts.
then you're okay. And this is going to be really interesting because we've got a flush draw with an overcard against the pair of jacks.
I imagine they're going to get this in a lot because Joe's almost always betting here, and then Pingray is going to probably raise just to get value from a lot of draws and under pairs. If you call with Jack 3, I can't imagine that you're gonna. I mean, he's obviously not gonna fold, but I think playing heads up, usually a lot of opponents when they get top pair, they re-raise.
2.5 million. Hugo says I'm all in.
Yep, there's the
Joe
all in.
makes the call.
A club or a king will end the tournament.
Joe's got the king 9 of clubs. Hugo has the jack of spades and a 3 of hearts.
Basically, another coin flip for the tournament.
It's the 6 of hearts.
Hugo now open-ended means nothing, and the river's the 4 of hearts.
4 of hearts, and Hugo's going to double up.
And another double up here for Pingray. So Pingray now up to 61 million. So now suddenly a really interesting match because earlier on we kind of had one guy with a 2-to-1 chip advantage. Then we had McKeon with a 2-to-1 chip advantage. But now they're almost dead even. One guy's going to have 61 million. The other guy has 57 million. And the blinds now still 800,000, 1.6 million. So, you know, you're looking at like 36 big blinds.
Yeah. So, I mean, this could be a long one. And at this point.
Yeah, no, for sure. What adjustments do you make now? And Hugo Pingray now is our chip leader with 38 big blinds. I believe Joe will have about 35 big blinds. How does the match change now? I mean, because now suddenly it's not a shove. You're not going to see a raise shove type thing.
I would say that around 20 big blinds and less, a lot of players are gonna limp in and raise every once in a while and fold some. But here, I think whenever you're around like 40 big blinds plus each, more players are gonna open raise a lot more hands and limp a little bit less, and play from there.
Well, game back on, and we have had 2 all-ins since we've been heads up. There have been 2 chances for this tournament to end, but we continue playing on. Each one of those stacks of brown is 5 million chips. Each stack of green, 2 million chips. Got a tweet here from I'm the Real Caesar saying they speak French in Switzerland. I do know they speak French in Switzerland, but that doesn't make you French. In fact, Hugo Pingray is actually is French. He was born in France.
Play a little while longer.
But I appreciate the tweet, I am Caesar. Thank you very much. And you hear Joe say we'll play a little bit longer. Bree Zuckerman says Pingray's chips are yellowish and the chip leaders are grayish. I think it's just the lighting. It's kind of a brown. You might want to check the color on your own TV. But it's kind of a, what do you call it, a brown? Beige? Yellow?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll call them brown.
It's probably the lighting. Joe
yellow.
was complaining about how the light was in his face a bit. So
yeah, they are the same chips though. So each one of those stacks of yellow, brown, whatever you want to call them, that's 5 million. Each stack of green, 2 million. Pingray now our chip leader. And the weird thing is with these guys, I mean, there's been a little bit of movement. I don't know. I mean, obviously you stepped away during some of the heads-up match. There's been a little bit of movement, but not a ton. I mean, and basically the real movement we've seen has just been the two big hands.
yeah.
It's been a fairly uneventful heads-up match.
3.2 mil. 3.2 mil.
Yeah, I missed a couple of the.
Hugo raised to 3.2 million.
I mean, basically it was ace-king versus tens.
Yeah, no, even I left four-handed.
Yeah. So
I missed quite a bit. A lot of the action.
yeah, I mean, four-handed and three-handed. Obviously, we had a ton of action, but heads up, it's been played fairly close to the vest. In terms of 3-bet bluffs, there's only been a handful, not very many at all. More often than not, when the players are 3-bet. Actually, there haven't been many 3-bets at all. Generally speaking, it's just been raise call or raise fold.
I would say that's about how a lot of people play heads up. Whenever you're 3-handed or so, it's people 3-bet about a lot more than they do heads up.
Poker in a Movie says, how did you guys get into yoga? Been thinking about it. How do I get started?
You go to walk.
Well, I mean, I can tell you how to get started, and I'll ask Calvin how he got into it. How to get started? Find a local yoga studio and go. I mean, I don't want to. It's not science. Just go.
Yeah.
Check it out, and if you like it, cool. How did you get into it?
Trying to think. I mean, I started hanging out with people that do it often, and then was wondering what it was, and I just went to a studio. I guess.
For me, I was dating a South African girl when I was living in London, and she was really into it. And she was like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "I'm not very flexible." She was like, "No, this will help you." And I went, and I loved it, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
The girl's long gone, but yoga's still in my life.
Nice.
Next blind, by the way, we'll move up to 1 million, 2 million. So there's only about, I mean, there's like 74 big blinds in play. That's not very deep, right?
No, it's
For heads up?
It's fairly shallow, for sure.
I mean, I feel like we're kind of just waiting for another one of those, like, ace-jack versus 9 situation.
Yeah.
Hugo makes it 3.2 million.
Pingray raising. McKeon calls.
Joseph made the call.
How's your heads-up game?
It's decent. I would say I lived with a player by the name of Rice Stud, Wade Townsend, and
10 spades, queen of
Ian
hearts,
Kush
6
Mendavia, Pistons 87 online. They're both heads of specialists. I spent a lot of time with Connor.
You go check.
He was heads of specialist. So a lot of what they're doing rubbed off on me. But I still think that all 3 of those players are a lot better than I am at heads up.
McKeon with top pair, Pingree with a gut shot. Pingree with about a 10 million chip advantage. When I say about, I mean exactly a 10 million chip advantage.
Joe makes 3.5 million.
C1 bets 3.5 mil.
Joe bets about half the pot. Now, obviously, deals aren't allowed to be made here at the World Series of Poker, but other tournament series, they are. When you back somebody, do you have any say on terms of, or when you buy a piece of somebody, do you have any say on how the deals would be constructed?
Yeah, I would say if I'm buying a piece of them, I don't really. If it's a small piece.
Pingre's going to raise.
10 mil.
So McKeon bets
Joe raises to
3.5.
10 million.
Pingree makes it 10. We haven't seen much of this, but then again, the players haven't been that deep.
True.
What's the play if you're McKeon?
Calling probably.
Yeah.
I don't see why you would raise.
C1 calls.
It doesn't really make much sense to do anything but just call, because if he's bluffing,
Those are
keep
made
your
call.
bluffs in, and if he's value betting, he has a better hand than you.
So McKeon does make the call. The winner of this pot will be our chip leader. Pair 4s now for Pingree.
4 hearts.
4 hearts.
It's an interesting card because Pingre's probably gonna,
Checks.
since he has showdown value now and he's beating some king jacks and other straight draws, he might just give up. But he might also turn his hand into a bluff.
If you were going to bluff, what kind of sizing would you put out there now? If you're trying to get somebody to fold, say a 10, he decides to check it back.
You go checks.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I would bluff that often in
Picks
that
up this
spot.
pot.
Just because you increase your hands, now you're beating some hands, and also if he calls the raise there, he's probably not going to fold to another bet. So
Could you ever get yourself into a leveling war where you think you're in McKeon's spot and you know your opponent knows that if I call the turn, I'm probably not folding the river, so I can actually bet the river.
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of that. That's kind of how these games are. It's just a guessing game, whether you think that he thinks
Right,
type
and
of stuff.
how many levels you go.
Yeah, I think try not to overlevel yourself in heads up, and if you get top pair, just don't fold.
A $1,000 no limit hold'em tournament is down to 27 players. Matt Salzberg continues to pace the field.
Wow.
The $1 million big one for one drop down to 14 players. Antonio Esfandiari has given back some chips. Daniel Coleman now 4th in chips. Tom Hall pacing that with 18.9 million.
G. Boro is still in the 1K. Steve Gross, he's in about 5th.
The $3,000 08 tournament, look who's top 5 in chips. George Danzer, currently 2nd in chips right now.
Joe makes it 3.2.
It's like the summer of Danzer.
Yeah, he's doing amazing.
1,500 mix max is down to 270 players out of a starting field of 1,475. Jared Jaffe, Brandon Cantu among our chip leaders. Tomorrow, by the way, if you're looking to play an event, the 1,500 no limit and the $10,000 7-card stud championship. Are you a stud guy or a no limit tomorrow?
I'm gonna start out with the no limit, and then
See how it goes.
I'll jump in the stud if I bust.
Hugo makes calls.
I don't think I'm amazing at stud, but I'm definitely at least break even in the field. So I'll go ahead and jump in there anyways, though.
5 of hearts, king of hearts, 9
5
spades.
king, 9, 2 hearts out there. Both players hit their kicker. Obviously, Pingree with by far the best of it. So Pingree had about 10 million more chips than McKeon before that last hand, but now
8 clubs.
McKeon's starting to pull ahead again. Goes check on the flop. Pot is 6.8 million.
I feel like Pingree is gonna bet out here a lot, and it's a good bet if he does. And then Joe will probably call, but he might fold.
Yeah. When McKeon checks it back, I mean, he's going to have a lot of smaller 9s and 5s in his range, right? Maybe ace highs.
The majority of the time. He might have ace high. And he could be, you know, fake checking back a hand like Jack 7 just to act like it's a better hand than it is.
Hugo leads out for 3.6.
But
Well, Pingray bets 3.6.
But his range definitely capped, like you were saying earlier.
Nice fold by McKeon.
Let's go. Hugo picks up the spot.
Yeah.
McKeon has a really good feel for where he's at. And you see him laying that hand down. I mean, you assume he's checking back the pair of 5s, so he can call a turn bet.
Yeah,
but he correctly
maybe he has a
folds that.
live read and just felt like he wasn't weak there.
Yeah, like the other guys. Yeah, when he said full commit, that was so out of line. Like that's so messed up. You're allowed to have your rail. I don't care. As long as they're not out of line. Yeah.
39 and 33 big blinds respective. There's a look at Hugo Pingray, the 22-year-old. So we've got a 22-year-old versus a 23-year-old. And the loser of this heads-up match will take home $820,000. The winner, $1.3 million.
Not too bad.
Yeah, we are on a 30-minute delay. Calvin Anderson, David Tuckman in the booth. So your first day in the booth, you enjoy it?
Yeah. I did some commentary in Ireland. I enjoyed that a lot. This is nice as well. But I haven't done too much. I definitely like it. Hopefully I'll get back in here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you in the booth. I mean, hopefully you're running deep in each tournament so you can't come back in, but if you get some free time, you're always welcome in here. Get a raise here from Pingray. Makes it $3.2 million on the button.
Around these stack sizes, I feel like players are opening a lot more hands because they're not going to get just jammed on that often. So, you know, Joe's going to call a lot more with a lot of his hands.
Joe does make the call. 6.8 million in there again.
Eight of spades.
Well, top
Four
pair
of
for
hearts,
Joe.
10 clubs. Rainbow.
C1 checks.
Joe's
Bob
gonna-
Smith calling the action.
What would you do if Pingray bet into you here?
Say it again.
If you were Joe, what would you do if Pingray bet into you after checking?
What do you mean? McKeon actually is out of position.
Yeah. McKean, Joe.
Right, okay. So what was your question?
He's about to bet. How would you?
Oh, Pingray check. You mean?
Yeah.
I would assume if you're McKeon with top pair and backdoor hearts, I assume you're going to check call this.
Yeah. He could check raise as well, I think. He's definitely not folding.
Yeah. I think there's no chance McKeon is folding.
3.6.
Talk about the merits of check raising this, as opposed to, because I mean, I think conventional wisdom. I think most players are thinking, well, I've got a pair of 10s here.
Yeah, I mean the negatives would be if you check raise and he has a better hand than you, but it's not going to happen that often. And there's a lot of times that he has an 8 or a 4 or some type of straight draw. We're getting a lot of value from it. So I think when a heads up match here, check raising a 10 is actually a decent play. It's pretty good.
8 clubs.
Turns the 8 of clubs. Pingray with the gut shot. So basically, in a full ring game, where check raising a hand like 10-9 here wouldn't make a ton of sense. Heads up though, it's almost like you can play top pair decent kicker like 2 pair.
Yeah, Pingray is just raising a really wide range on the button. So check raising top pair for value is really standard, I would say.
Action on McKeon, you can see the yellow line around his name. That's his turn to act. Pingray watching.
Yeah, putting in a value out here is good decision normally.
6.1.
Well, Pingray wants to know how much.
Joe makes it 6.1 million.
He's got no showdown value, so you imagine if he's going to play this, if he's going to do anything, he's going to raise or fold.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a very good raise if he does make it. because I think that he would just bet again with an 8. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally. You try to think of like what are you trying to rep here?
Yeah.
Joe's gonna win this pot.
So it's a good fold. I don't think Joe would fold if he re-raised him.
Now, going off what you just said, if you bet a pair of 8s here and got called, and the turn was an 8, would you ever check it back against a certain player where you could then raise his river value bet and make it look like it makes no sense?
I don't think that I would. I don't think I would. There's too much value in bet, because if you're gonna 2-barrel, if you're gonna bet the turn, you're gonna have a lot of like Jack 9s, Queen Jack, a lot of other hands, and you're just betting so often with so many other hands, so that you have to include that value hand in there of an 8. I feel like some other players may do that, but the masses definitely just bet again. So it's hard for him to represent a card that almost nobody doesn't bet again with. So it's a pretty bad check back, I think.
Poker Mojo has actually come up with the perfect name for the color of those $250,000 chips, Desert Camouflage.
Yeah.
There you go, Desert Camouflage. I like it. Thanks, Poker Mojo. Kevin6589 says, I think at all times the current chip leader should be obligated to wear the monster mask in the middle of the table. There's a bracelet in the middle of the table and a monster mask, and I'm assuming they're playing for that too.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I've asked Bob Smith, the tournament director on the floor right now, to wear it. I lied to him and told him it was my birthday, and he said he still would not wear it.
It was actually Joe's birthday a couple days ago.
Do you know anything about this monster mask?
No, I do not. I haven't even seen it. I mean, I kind of see it from here, but is that a sponsor or what?
I know nothing about it. I'm going to be, in all fairness, I know nothing about it. I mean, Jack Link's Beef Jerky used to be a sponsor, so I thought maybe, but I don't even know if Jack Link's is still a sponsor or not. Maybe they're a smaller sponsor.
Yeah.
Pingray Racing. Earlier on, we saw McKeon shove with a hand like this, but these players are a little bit deeper now. So McKeon just calls.
I like calling with ace-3.
McKeon seems to have the slight edge heads up. I'm not sure if that's just
it's probably
a result of just the cards running his way or the fact that he's playing better.
I think it's an experience thing, playing live so much and playing, heads up a bit more.
The fact that he just won a big tournament, did they play that down?
6 hearts.
What do you mean?
The 100,000 that he won a couple of weeks ago, did they play that down, or was it chopped?
Yeah, all the way down. It wasn't chopped.
So that's actually a huge amount of experience. The fact that just 2 weeks ago, he played down a tournament, he was in this situation, obviously for a lot less money, but still, he had to close the deal against an opponent. I have to imagine that's just not a situation that a lot of us get into.
Yeah, it's hard to take down a live tournament.
I mean, yesterday we did the ladies tournament, and the girl who ended up winning, the lady who ended up winning it, actually laughed because she had a really good run in a deep stack a couple of days earlier, but they chopped it up 6 ways.
Yeah.
So she said, I've never played 3-handed or heads up.
3.2.
She obviously did well and still won it, but that experience can speak volumes.
Joe has a lot of heads-ups in shorthanded experience, so I would imagine that Pingray does as well, but just specifically live experience of actually playing in person, Joe definitely has a lot more.
I mean, the fact that Joe is American and still lives in the States would suggest that, and he's a grinder, he obviously has to have more live experience because he can't be playing online. Hugo could be playing online a lot. That queen is going to cost Pingray a little bit.
Yeah.
River's a blank.
I'd definitely be betting in here if I were Joe. Pingray is gonna have a lot. He checked back the flop, so Pingray is gonna have a lot of 6s and 7s. So
the fact that the river card is not higher than the 7 also.
Yeah, it completes some 2-pair combinations that Joe's probably thinking about, but I still think you have to bet and just kind of evaluate. I would bet on the larger side just so I don't get raised by some of the 2 pairs personally. But
it looks like he's cutting out somewhere in that $4.5 million mark.
A lot of his sizings have been around this, so even with really big hands too. So it's not.
Joe leads up for 4.7.
4.7 million. So the pot now nearly 18 million chips. And if Pingray calls this, he will be down to about 37 million. Queen 9, just a bluff catcher when your opponent bets this?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much just a bluff catcher. But it's difficult to fold here, I think, especially hitting the queen in the turn. Because, you know, Joe can have 7-8, 8-10, 10-9, and a bunch of other random hands, I would say.
But Joe's probably not betting 7-8, right?
Oh, sorry, not 7-8. Sorry, 8-9. Just all the missed straight draws.
Missed straight draws. 8-10,
yeah,
8-9.
He's probably not going to bet any 7s or 6s. And if he did, he wouldn't bet this big. It's more of a check call hand. It's a
Great
good fold.
laydown. Pingray gives it up.
That's discipline for sure.
And McKeon doubled up Hugo just about 25 minutes ago, but has gotten the majority of those chips back. Not quite a 2-to-1 chip advantage for him, but he's right around there.
That was actually a really interesting hand. I like flatting ace X hands or ace rag hands from the big blind, and then trying to put a lot of chips in on ace high boards, because it's hard for you to like have an ace in your range, because most people 3-bet with aces. So Joe bet like half pot on turn after he checked back, and sometimes I even overbet in that spot.
Are you ever concerned that, you know, those weak aces just don't play well? They're not the playability of them post flop, or are you just? I mean, obviously you're so comfortable playing post flop.
Yeah, whenever it's heads up and you have an ace in your hand, you're doing pretty good normally. But you know, if you're in a full ring 10-handed table or 9-handed table, 8 or 8, they don't play as well, for sure. But it's kind of an irrational fear to think if someone else is going to have a better ace when an ace comes out there, you have one in your hand.
And I'm assuming, of course, you know, you're not just going to check fold every, you know, when you don't hit your hand, you're not just going to check fold when you've got ace high.
Yeah. It's going to play well on most board textures.
So McKeon raises to 3.2 million. Once again, that's a min raise. Pingray with Jack 7. Now is less than 40 million behind. David Miller says something that's quite obvious, and I feel pretty stupid. He says the Monster Mask is for the Monster Stack event.
Didn't know that.
That would be fairly, almost too obvious to even say. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. That is Miltard who tweets that in.
3.2.
Red Sox Nets 5.
3.2.
Cheering for Joe.
Raise.
Pingray decides to 3-bet. And as I mentioned, we haven't seen a ton of 3-bet bluffing.
$8 mil. 8 mil.
Imagine that.
8 million.
8 million. Imagine a Joe fold here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he has an ace, if he does get it in versus Pingray, he's going to be dominated with just having ace deuce.
Down, you goes and pick up this pot.
There's a lot of other stuff going on here at the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino in the Amazon room, and I can only assume they're cheering for somebody else. The 1K tournament down to 27 players.
Wow, is the other 1,500 over?
Oh, in fact, sorry. The Frenchman actually was saying that his friends were actually chanting. He said they knew you didn't have it, so they were happy. What were you saying?
I was just wondering if the 1,500, the other
1,500 is done. We are we have awarded a champion. We are done with that one, and I can tell you who won in just a second. The winner of that event was a Canadian, Ashi Moshe. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. Or Asi Moshe. 3 Canadians made that final table.
Wow.
And got to give it to Ashi, by the way, because he went to that final table 6th in chips. David Jackson had like more than half the chips in play, finished in 4th place, and Moshe ended up winning that one.
3.2.
The big one for one drop down to 12 players.
Wow.
3-2 and a call.
Our most recent eliminations, Phil Galfond and Phil Ivey.
Wow, Sam.
I mean, you
Trickett.
think about the last like 6 players to get knocked out of that tournament. Phil Galfond, Phil Ivey, Sam Trickett, Tony Gregg, Doug Polk, Connor Drynan, Isaac Haxton. I mean, the players that are getting eliminated are the who's who of poker. Tom Hall continues to be our chip leader, now on 21.8 million chips. Gabe Kaplan, our short stack, with just 12 million. Antonio down to 8th. King high flop, 2 diamonds. Now 2 flush draws out there. Ace 4 still the best hand.
Check, check. Deuce clubs.
Ace high. 9 checks. Show.
Check, check. Joe turns over ace high. Hugo bucks, goes to win the spot.
McKeon's ace high, good. Calvin Anderson, David Tuckman in the booth. If you ever wanted to ask Calvin a question, but we're too shy to ask, here's your opportunity. Send in a tweet at Tuck on Sports at WSOP. Blinds moving up to 1 million, 2 million very shortly. I want to say 1 or 2 hands left. Pin grade down to 26 big blinds. So, as I mentioned, not a ton of big blinds in play. Only 74 big blinds total in play. These players not playing extremely fast, though. It's funny, last night, the ladies' event, we had 150 big blinds in play when they were heads up. And they were even. They both had right around 74, 75 big blinds. And the heads up match lasted maybe 11 minutes.